If my lips are blue or my tongue, that's because I was consuming the blue laxative Takis. Also, I need to mention I don't know if my brain's fully there because I feel like my brain's not working very well today, but I still gotta make weekly content, so here I am. Today I'm gonna be going over most of the films that I watched this month. There are a couple that I decided not to review for one reason or another, but I wanted to go from what I think the worst film was, which I'm going to put in the 15th place, which I have watched 23 films, but I'm going to be doing 15 because the other ones I just didn't rank, and up to the best. If I don't get into too much detail, it's because my brain's not fully there. I have some caffeine, so I'm hoping that this will make it better. Promise it's not blood. Let's get into this. And as always, if you wanted to see the other films I didn't rate, I have a link in the description to my ranking. Just reminder that 16 and under aren't really ranked. They'll say like they're the worst, but they're not. 15th place or last place is Death Name, which was released in 2026, by the way, and I think it's the first release this year that I watched. It's about a young Korean American woman who yearns to learn more about her heritage, not knowing the further she digs, the more she reawakens a deadly family curse. I remember when I watched this film, which, to be honest, was a bit ago, still this month, but a bit ago, I was really intrigued, and I remember watching the trailer and thinking this is actually interesting. And while I might not have the highest ratings, I was thinking, oh, this might actually be a film that I have an unpopular opinion and actually like. 2.5 stars, so probably not a great film. In my review that I put on Letterboxd, I said this film has a lot of potential, but it fell short by quite a lot. I think some of the decisions these characters made were beyond stupid, and I think they could have done a lot better with the scares. The story itself, I thought, was a pretty solid idea. It might not be like the craziest thing ever, but I think that it could have been utilized a lot better. And there were a lot of predictable moments in this film, if I remember right. Still, it's been a while. 2.5 stars. 14th place has got to go to Requiem for a Scream. These ones are tied, and I almost want to change them up every once in a while because I think they're both probably on the same level of quality. A sadistic killer sets his sights on a group of friends partying in an abandoned lake house, determined to make their murder his symphony. So we get this killer who is like obsessed with using these people he captures or he tortures or whatever, using their screams to make music, which honestly, some might say, oh, that is dumb. It is. But hear me out. It could be utilized in a really interesting way. Well, it might not be a masterpiece. I think they could have made this film and somehow used the music as a way that the killer killed. I have no idea how they would do that. Maybe there'd be like some death trap revolving around a piano or something, where they're like stuck to the piano. I don't know. I have no idea how they would do that. But this film, I mean, really, besides the symphony part, it's kind of a bit generic, and the character decisions in this film were also very, very dumb. I mean, it's like at one point I think there's like there's four people trying to fight this sadistic killer, and none like they couldn't have taken this killer down. I'm pretty sure they could have. I think four against one. I don't even think the guy had a gun on him at that moment. And I mean, if he doesn't have a gun on him, he's just a knife. There's got to be some item that they have in this cabin that they're at, or this lake house, that could have like helped them. So, Requiem for a Scream, not a great film. I really wanted to like this film more. Both this and Death Name, I almost want to see them do this concept again, but a better film with a better story. On to under 13th place, and now we're getting to 3 stars. The Haunting in Connecticut. When the Campbell family moves to upstate Connecticut, they soon learn that their charming Victorian home has a disturbing history. Not only was the house a transformed funeral parlor where inconceivable acts occurred, but the owner's clairvoyant son, Jonah, served as a demonic messenger, providing a gateway for spiritual entities to cross over. This is the most recent film that I've seen, and I will say for the first half I felt really interested, but I think by the second half I was kind of just bored of this film. I don't know if that's because it didn't do anything insane for me, but I thought there were some cool visuals. But overall, it was an okay film. I think a lot of people said it's generic. It probably was. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was horrible. I mean, give it a shot. I heard the second film has like the record for most jump scares or something, which I know people aren't big fan of jump scares. This film has quite a few, but none of them are very creative. They're kind of simple and kind of boring. Like they're not very creative jump scares, I don't think. which I really wish they would have done. I haven't watched the second one yet, but I do plan on eventually watching it, probably sometime either next week or within the next month, probably. On to 12th place is Mercy at 3 stars. This is another film released this year, and it's about the near future where a detective stands on trial accused of murdering his wife. He has 90 minutes to prove his innocence to the advanced AI judge he once championed before it determines his fate. I gave it 3 stars. I mean, I think the concept's interesting, and I mean, I went to the theater and watched it, so I guess I have that kind of a fun experience. I just don't remember. I never felt completely hooked. Maybe it's not my type of film, so I just kind of gave it a 3 stars. I think there were some interesting moments. They kind of, I mean, this might be a light spoiler, but they kind of do that thing where they're like, it almost feels like they're trying to sympathize with this AI, which I think I've heard other people say they're not. It just felt like that almost with me, like they're trying to give this AI personality, which I wasn't a big fan of, and I'm a hypocrite for that because I love Megan. But this film was alright. Give it a shot if you want. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you'll not. Wait for it to be on streaming, though. And at 11th place, we have Happy Death Day at 3 stars. Caught in a bizarre and terrifying time warp, college student Tree finds herself rapidly reliving the day of her murder, ultimately realizing that she must identify the killer and the reason for her death before her chances of survival run out. This is a film that I mean, I'm gonna admit it up front that I believe I've watched probably multiple recaps on a while back, so I knew kind of what the whole ending was, which probably ruined some of the film for me. I watched it with my sister. She seemed to like it more than me. I'm a little surprised that they gave it a PG-13 rating. I almost feel like an R rating would make more sense for this film. I mean, it's a slasher. It's nothing crazy gory, and I could have seen them adding more gore. There is quite a lot of like I don't want like nudity or sexual content in this film, which I wasn't a big fan of, especially for a PG-13 rating. I think if they were to do that, they should have just given it an R rating. The film's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I didn't hate it. And at 10th place, we have Terrifier 2. 3 stars. A year after the Miles County massacre, Art the Clown is resurrected by a sinister entity. Art returns home, where he must hunt down and destroy teenage Sienna and her younger brother Jonathan on Halloween. As the body count rises, the siblings fight to stay alive while uncovering the true nature of Art's evil intent. I haven't seen the first Terrifier film. I have watched probably multiple recaps on it, so I have a good idea of what happened in that film. Terrifier 2, I thought was fun, I guess. I never really felt fully invested in this film. I will say, one of the songs they picked at the beginning, I just thought was a strange choice while Sienna is, like, making her costume, the music they play. I don't know why, I just thought it was weird. I don't know, like, this film just felt strange to me. I don't know. It's very gory. I mean, the bedroom scene. Definitely a little too much, I think, for me with the bedroom scene. It felt more mean spirited. I don't know, but it was fine. Art was fun to see. I really like that part where he puts on those sunglasses. But film's fine. Check it out if you want. At number ninth place, I put Inside at 3.5 stars. This is Inside from 2016, not the original French Extremity film. Completely on her own, Sarah spends her time at home waiting for the approaching birth of her child, but one night a stranger breaks into her home, ready to snatch her still unborn baby from her. This film doesn't have the greatest. I don't want to say. It sounds like it doesn't have the greatest reputation, but it only has like a little over 6,000 logged ins on Letterboxd. So I don't know how like well known this film is, but it has like a 2.2 on Letterboxd. I watched it and I'm gonna be honest, I liked it. There were some dumb character decisions, probably some plot holes, some things that felt like just felt unrealistic, like they were doing it to keep the plot going, but it didn't make too much sense. But I enjoyed this film. I thought it was I remember it being pretty intense, and I thought that it's less gory, but it's like a little like almost like a PG-13 version. It's probably not rated PG-13, but I feel like it's a nice tame version of the other film. I like the other film probably more. I mean, I don't feel like I could give this one 4 stars, so I ended up giving it 3.5. But I mean, honestly, I might pick this one to watch instead of the other one. Which I mean, that might be a hot take and stuff, but I liked it. I thought it was fun. Now at 8th place, we have Unhinged. I watched Unhinged recently, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really interesting thriller. I don't watch as many thrillers, but I enjoyed this one. You might have to suspend your disbelief a bit though when you're watching it. I think there's probably a couple things that didn't fully make sense. and, some choices that might have you scratching your head. I also thought the message of this film was very much on the nose. Or maybe there's no message and I'm just crazy. I give it 3.5 stars, by the way. But it definitely felt like there was a message, and that message was very on the nose, which I don't know if I dislike that or not. I found the film to have some really pretty intense parts, and I remember a couple scenes being a little bit more disturbing. I thought the acting was good, if I remember right, at least by Russell Crowe. I thought his acting was kind of unhinged. I also think the film felt faster than its 90-minute length, even though it was 90 minutes, which isn't very long. But that also could be because I had a couple breaks during the film. On to 7th place, Greenland, at 3.5 stars. John Garrity, his estranged wife, and their young son embark on a perilous journey to find sanctuary as a planet-killing comet hurtles towards Earth. Amid terrifying accounts of cities being leveled, the Garritys experience the best and worst in humanity. As the countdown to the global apocalypse approaches zero, the incredible trek culminates in a desperate and last-minute flight to possible safe haven. I don't think I've watched too many disaster films, so this might be a bit of a generic movie. I really don't know. But I enjoyed it, and I honestly found some parts disturbing. I know a lot of people might not find this film disturbing, but there were scenes that disturbed me, or at least bothered me, made my stomach a little upset. And yeah, I enjoyed this film. I don't have too much to say about it, except for the fact that I enjoyed it. At 6th place, we have R.L. Stine Pumpkinhead at 3.5. So I've watched this film like 1.5 times. I'm gonna say, like, I watched the film first alone, then I showed it to my brother, but I was like half watching it. I wasn't really watching it. But the first time when I watched it, at least, I honestly enjoyed this film and I recommend it. When his brother disappears and everyone forgets he existed, Sam must unravel the mystery before Finn is gone forever. That's a not very detailed description on what this film is about. I really like this film. I think that its story, while probably not the craziest or most creative story, I think it was enjoyable, and I think that I like the characters. Well, it's not a perfect film. I thought it was enjoyable. There was some, like, maybe a little scary scenes. I thought the monster looked cool. I don't have a whole lot to say except for the fact that I thought it was just a good time. At 5th place, I have Bring Her Back. Following the death of their father, a brother and sister are sent to live with a foster mother, only to learn that she is hiding a terrifying secret. Really good film. I think that it's not quite as good as Talk to Me, but I enjoyed it. And I think that you probably should go in pretty blind because it gets kind of wild, and I don't want to spoil anything. And number 4th place, at 3.5 stars, the not needed sequel, but I take it. I'll take it. I like it. I enjoyed it. Black Phone 2. 4 years after escaping the grabber, Finney Blake is struggling with his life after captivity. When his sister Gwen begins receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and seeing disturbing visions of 3 boys being stalked at a winter camp, the siblings become determined to solve the mystery and confront a killer who has grown more powerful in death and more significant to them than either could imagine. I think it's common knowledge that Black Phone 2 didn't need to exist, and I don't think it's as good as the first film, but I still think it's a pretty solid film. It is definitely a lot more violent than the first film, which, I mean, could turn some people off, could make people enjoy it more. I don't know. It didn't really affect me too much. I think the story is interesting, and how they give more background to some of these characters, I think, is really interesting and create a cool idea. And it's cool to see that they were able to actually make a second film that made sense with the story. And I liked it. Not as good as the first, but still pretty good. Okay, we are into the top 3. And all of these are 4 stars. And number 3, we have The Others. Grace is a religious woman who lives in an old house kept dark because her 2 children, Anne and Nicholas, have a rare sensitivity to light. When the family begins to suspect the house is haunted, Grace fights to protect her children at any cost in the face of strange events and disturbing visions. This film's honestly really good. It's very interesting. The last, I don't know, like 10, 20 minutes or whatever, the ending is pretty insane. I think that the story itself is really interesting, and it gets, some things get a little bit crazy. I would recommend it. Kind of go in blind. Like, this description is all you need to know. Just go in blind and enjoy it. At 5th place, which, funny enough, isn't a horror or a thriller, is I Am Sam. Sam, a neurodivergent man, has a daughter with a homeless woman who abandons them when they leave the hospital, leaving Sam to raise Lucy on his own. But as Lucy grows up, Sam's limitations as a parent start to become a problem, and the authorities take her away. Sam convinces high-priced lawyer Rita to take his case pro bono and in turn teach her the value of love and family. I would recommend watching it if that's the title sounds interesting to you. I mean, I mostly watch horror and some thrillers, but this is something different that I decided to watch, and I enjoyed it. I thought that the acting was really good. I thought that there were some sad moments, some happy moments, and it can make you laugh. It can make you cry. I think its ending was pretty well done. Okay,
First,
place, which I don't even know how to like. This is another film you gotta go in pretty blind, so I'm not gonna be able to say much to you about it. It's called Begonia. Two conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap the high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she's an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. I'm gonna tell you like maybe 2 or 3 things about this film. The acting's good, the story's interesting, your brain goes back and forth when watching this on what you think is true or not, and that's all. Go in blind to this film.